In just the past couple weeks, Algorand has been exploding. Like seriously guys, the price is skyrocketing. And in this video, we're going to be talking about exactly what is happening and some price predictions to look for in the future. But before we start, 10K Trade is a brand new YouTube channel talking about investing, cryptocurrency, and other blockchain news. So go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And I promise there will be much more content. And guys, I'm going to keep you up to date. Now let's get into today's video. Now, like I was saying before, the price of Algorand is shooting up like crazy. And now before we get into all the news, let's first go over the basics of Algorand and their token, Algo. So to start off, Algorand is a smart contract developing blockchain similar to Ethereum. However, the Algorand team claims to have more security, decentralization, and improved transaction speeds and fees. And Algorand is run on a thing called pure proof of stake, which is a little bit different than normal proof of stake, and they actually have this term trademarked. So basically what the proof of stake aspect means is that the Algo token holders can stake their tokens, and then they will be able to validate the blockchain. And then for this service, they will then be paid back out in Algo tokens, and it's almost like a passive income. So that's the normal proof of stake method, and which is what they use. However, the difference is that with Algorand, every holder that holds at least one token can equally be chosen to be the validator of the blockchain. This is different than the normal proof of stake method, because in normal proof of stake, the more tokens that you hold, the more likely that you will be chosen to validate the blockchain. However, with this one, everyone with one token has the equal opportunity to be chosen. And this process makes the proof of stake even more decentralized, which is why it's called pure proof of stake. Another important thing to know is that Algorand's transactions have an average speed of around 5 seconds per transaction confirmation. And the transaction fees are only about $0.001 per transaction, which is super good compared to the other blockchains on the market. So the creator of Algorand is Silvio Macaulay, and he is very widely known and loved in the cryptography and cryptocurrency space. And as an already very successful and accomplished cryptographer, he decided in 2019 to completely drop everything that he was doing to go and build Algorand. So now that we know a little bit about Algorand, let's actually talk about why this price has been exploding. So in recent news, one of the reasons for this pump is actually because of Bitcoin. So on September 7th, Bitcoin was officially named legal tender in El Salvador, which means that not only does the government now hold Bitcoin, but now every business and every person that is in El Salvador can legally spend and accept Bitcoin. And to even kickstart this whole process off, the El Salvadorian government then gifted every single El Salvadorian citizen $30 worth of Bitcoin. Now, the adoption of Bitcoin was huge news and it was talked about all over, but what was not talked about was how Algorand actually played a behind the scenes part in getting this established. And that's actually something to really pay attention to, because the cryptocurrencies that have teams that are actively building up the crypto space and not just trying to make news to get their own price to pump up, those are the teams that are actually building true value. And those are the projects to really look out for long-term gains. And to understand more about what Algorand actually did behind the scenes, there was an article written in Motley Fool that kind of explains it a bit better. They say, Coinbanks is a company trying to push blockchain adoption in Latin America. After El Salvador voted to approve Bitcoin as legal tender, Coinbanks approached the governments about adopting additional blockchain solutions like property records. Remember, blockchain is just a database ledger. El Salvador agreed, and Coinbanks picked Algorand as a blockchain on which to build the country's infrastructure. And while this may not seem like it's big headlining news, things like this truly show that Algorand is separating themselves from the rest of the pack, and it is a great indicator of future potential growth. So now that we know a little bit more about what happened in the news, let's look at the price of Algorand. So at the time of this recording, Algorand is sitting at around $2 per coin with a total market cap of around $10 billion. And while this is pretty big and has already made them the number 17 coin in the crypto space, there is still a lot more room for growth. Just for an example, if we look at one of Algorand's competitors, which is Cardano currently has a market cap of just over $80 billion. So if Algorand was able to match that same market cap that Cardano's at right now, that would be an 8 times return. Then if we go even one step further and look at the biggest competitor of Algorand, which is Ethereum right now has a total market cap of just over $400 billion. So if Algorand was able to just match this, then that would be a 40 times return. Overall, I believe that there is a lot of potential with a project like Algorand, and they are already making a name for themselves behind the scenes, but finally the price is starting to show. Now, if this video was helpful, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, and I promise guys there will be much more content coming on in the future. See you in the next video.